Hello, hello.
Спасибо.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Мила Анатольевна, спасибо всем. Церковь, пастора, лидеры, которые поддерживают ее и которые сегодня были дежурными. Ну что ж,
Good evening,
очень
everybody.
приятно продолжить с
It's a
нами
great
это
pleasure
общее
to
тема
continue this topic. We have such a fantastic
самореализация, да?
topic, self-fulfillment.
Я вас буду пытаться
And
дальше тянуть.
I'm going to pull you through
В
this
глубину,
topic,
как Библия говорит, что
pull you to the
только
deep.
глубина
Bible says
вызывает
only
глубину.
depth,
Глубина
depths calls out to
вычерпывает из глубины.
depth.
Только нужно быть глубоким, чтобы
You need to be
вычерпывать из
deep.
глубины. Ну что, сегодня я продолжу
So
то слово,
today
которое мы
I'm
начали
going to
вчера.
continue the
И
word
это
that we
будет
started
вторая часть.
yesterday,
Что
and that's gonna
нужно
be
знать
the
о
second
себе,
part.
чтобы самореализоваться?
What do you need to
Себя
learn
надо
about
раскрыть.
yourself
Надо
to
раскрывать себе, чтобы самореализоваться.
be
Но как
self-fulfilled?
себя раскрыть?
How
Многие
to
даже себя не знают.
how to
Вчера мы
discover
говорили
yourself?
об одном аспекте познания себя.
We spoke
Это
about one
аспект,
aspect
то,
of
что
getting
Бог
to know
дал, что
ourselves,
Бог мне дал не только
and the
мне,
aspect is that God
Бог
gave
мне
me not
дал
only
ресурс, знания.
mind, but
Какой-то ресурс.
some resources.
Разум. Бог мне дал разум, ум, интеллект, чтобы это я, это составляющая меня. Это то, что мы
So
называем
my
души.
mind is a part of me.
Души входит именно разум, интеллект,
The
эмоция, воля, чувства. Вот это все есть совокупность души.
the part is the integrity of soul.
Чтобы эмоция не контролировала личности, это разум.
So what we need to control a personality is mind.
Эмоция, чувства и чувства.
Emotions, feelings.
Личность. Потому у нас главное в душе разум.
So mind is the main center of our soul, and due to mind,
Но если вы посмотрите вокруг себя, вы,
if you look around, you may agree that most often
движет нашими людьми, и не только нашими, вообще людьми, но простыми.
our people are moved
Эмоция,
by emotions and feelings.
чувства, эмоция. Это
Emotions, feelings, this is what they feel, this is how they live.
отождествляют с собой и
They
себя,
identify themselves
прежде всего,
with
с тем, как они чувствуют.
how they feel themselves, what they experience, feelings, emotions.
Ниже сорт жизни.
But this is lower
Сорт жизни.
sort of life.
Живет тут
Those who live like this,
низкопробный.
they are, like second sort people.
Если мы живем потому, как
If we live by our emotions, by our feelings,
эмоции, это далеко не пойдет.
it will not go far.
Бог дал нам разум,
God gave us wisdom
разум управлял
so that mind would manage our emotions, so that mind would manage our feelings.
разум должен быть выше.
Mind should be higher
И чувств, и эмоций.
than feelings and emotions.
Разум
The
укрепляет
mind has to strengthen our will
и воли мы уже имеем.
and set up foundation, lay the foundation of our character.
Так что нужно знать,
And by will, we develop our character.
реализоваться?
So what do you need to discover about yourself to get self-fulfilled? First of all, you need to know that you are the spirit. Through spirit, you talk to God, you have relationship with God. But in order to function on earth, because spirit will live in heaven, but to function on earth, you need to develop your soul. To live on earth, you need to develop your soul. And for this, you use mind. God has given us mind so that we would be able to build up the person of integrity. And the personality that we're going to develop with our mind will live forever, will live in eternal life. We often think that mind is not that important, spirit is not that important, but not only spirit goes to heaven, but integrity of spirit and soul goes to heaven. But the main component here on earth among them is mind. By our mind, we have to build ourselves, not by emotions. You don't build yourself by feelings or by emotions. This is how animals live. They live by feelings and emotions, but we are Homo sapiens. We live by our mind. By our mind, we build our spirit, we build our soul, we build our feelings, we build our emotions, and especially we build our will. So, what do we have to know about ourselves? Do you remember the topic of yesterday? What do we have to know about ourselves? Now we know that we have to develop our life. Our life given to us on earth is an ability to develop ourselves for heaven. So the way you build yourself here on earth, you will remain that in heaven. Of course, there in heaven, there will be an opportunity to grow further, but you're gonna grow from the from the perspective of where you are right now, of where you stopped in your development on earth, where you were at the moment of your death, how much you have developed yourself in your mind, in your spirit. This will determine the stage from which you will be developing in heaven. So it's important to develop yourself. It is important to conquer yourself. It is important not to be like an animal. That when we are driven by feelings and emotions, it is important to overcome this. It's important to make you strong, not only in the spirit, but in the soul, and in your soul and in your spirit. So we have to build our soul. And the main instrument for building our soul is mind. So today I'm going to continue. So today I want to speak about memory. Memory is a part of our mind. Yesterday I spoke about it. Now memory is a part of the mind, and memory never fades. I think we had either a summer fast or a leadership school where we spoke about consciousness, conscious and subconscious. So many things that are in subconscious, we don't use it often. We don't even remember and know what is in our subconscious. But this is all our resources that we will take to heaven, but we have to revive it. In heaven, we definitely have different. We will have different situation. Everything that brings pain, sorrow, tears, it will go away, because the Bible says that there is no grief, there is no pain, there is no weeping in heaven. So we are going to heaven, so we are not going to see that. So every knowledge that we have, except what brings us grief, we will have it and we will use it in heaven. One of the key parts of the soul and mind is our memory. We were given memory to keep good experiences, pleasant and non-pleasant experiences. Yeah. All of us, we have life experiences, and these experiences are stored in our subconscious. In our subconscious, let's say it. All experiences that we had in our childhood, in our mother's womb, we had experienced some feelings there, and these feelings we have it in our subconscious. We don't remember it, but it is there. So all this is our. So mind keeps all our experiences, all our feelings, good and bad moments in life. And these experiences, they come up from, they show up from subconscious. All this is real, but in heaven, it becomes our luggage that will form our personality in heaven. Our real life in heaven will be a reflection of our personality here. For instance, I have recently read this article that in heaven, what determines our kind in heaven? Here on earth, our kind is determined, our image, the way we look, is determined by genetics, DNA of our parents. We look like our parents, either mother or father. So this is what determines us here on earth. But when we get to heaven, can you imagine? Your personality, and we're gonna discern each other. We're gonna figure out who the person is. But you remember, Bible says that God gonna give us new names. For the first time, we're gonna be like we are. Those who will come from the land, from the earth life, they will see us as we are. But the longer we stay in heaven, we will be transfigured. We will be transfigured into our new name. How to form a new name? How we're gonna look? This will be formed by my personality. How am I going to look like? If I was a person of love here on earth, if I was a lovable person, if I was the person who was able to develop love or some feelings, these qualities, they form a person, how beautiful he or she is. Somebody has developed love, kindness, the fruits of the Spirit. So the person in heaven will be beautiful and kind, because these are the peculiarities that he has developed on earth. And here we are formed by cells that are formed by DNA, that are predetermined by DNA. And in heaven, we will be formed by the good qualities that we have gained as a living soul. So who you are, your core, our core, that nobody sees here on earth, it shall become transparent. It will determine who you are. It is easy to be a hypocrite here on earth. We all want to show us from the best side, but in heaven you will be just like you are. Either you are kind or you are not very kind. So, what determines your essence? What determines... So you see, like, we have 5 fingers. So the same, we will all be transparent, but we will not all be in one level. So the way you are developed here on earth will determine how you're gonna be positioned in heaven. Like those who have developed here on earth well, they will become someone great there in heaven. Those who didn't work here on earth, they have reached heaven, but they will have to grow in heaven to achieve another greatness, heavenly greatness. So how you have formed yourself here on earth, this will be your starting point in heaven. So my essence will be reflected through the growth that I have gained here, this knowledge that I have received here, the way I have become here. So nothing shall pass by in vain. Having something for free will not be rewarded on earth. Like easy life will not be rewarded. Easy life will not be rewarded in heaven. We will be the reflection of who we are, of who we really are, the reality. And all this is being formed right now. It is all being recorded in our subconscious, in our cells. Every cell is a bearer of information, or is our information agent. They keep information about us. So our reality will be formed from the information that we put inside, especially good qualities, God's qualities, and knowledge that apart from God's qualities, there in heaven there will be, recently I was watching a lot of testimonies of people who were in heaven, and many people they die without knowing it, because everything that they used to see there, that they saw in heaven, is very similar to what they saw on earth. So somebody will see another man with camera, or a TV, or somebody works with a laptop. All these things that we see here in heaven, they will be there. Here on earth, we will see them in heaven. Only here they are material things. But one very interesting thought. So here on earth, it develops very fast. Just a second. So development of things here on earth, development of things here on earth is a reflection of things that were invented in heaven. So in heaven we will do things that we used to love. So if you are a developed person, you will grow faster. So what do you need to know about yourself to get self-accomplished? You need to understand that you have mind, you have soul, you have conscious and subconscious. Work on yourself, and in spiritual realm and in physical realm. If you want to discover yourself in these areas, you will be self-fulfilled on earth, and your fulfillment on earth shall continue in heaven. I started to getting to know this, to discover this, when I met a person who was attending our church. He was a politician, but he was very aggressive, and everybody used to love him. He is from Nigeria, and his name is Obafemi Olaolo. Due to him, I am here among you. He was a governor of the state, and when he was a governor, he made free education. But free education in Africa, it is not that easy, just like you had everything here for free in Ukraine. So he was socialist. He was not a communist, but he was a socialist. Like Scandinavian countries, rulers or politicians. Not a communistic looks, but he was quite a socialistic guy, politician. So due to this program, free education for kids from poor families. Due to that, I went to school. If I had to pay, I wouldn't go to school. So this person had very strong influence over my life. I don't know whether he was a believer or not, but when he died in 1987. I have got saved then, and I was in Soviet Union. And when he died, he told, before his death, he was saying that he was looking for a book. I read an article about him. He was looking for a book called Life After Death. Moody. He was looking for this book and similar books, and somebody asked him, why are you reading about heaven? Because he says, I wanted to become president here in Nigeria. I wanted to build a good country here, but I want to figure out how heaven functions and what am I going to do in heaven, because I have a desire to continue my service in heaven. Not just to die and get to heaven and sit. No, but I just want to continue my good deeds in heaven. And I said, wow, very interesting article, very interesting way of thought. He was preparing himself for death, and he was looking for materials on earth on what he's gonna do there in heaven. So he was preparing for his death, and he started doing it a few years before his death. So I was shocked. The person was really preparing for his death. I was thinking, oh God, if I was in 70s, I wouldn't be reading anything. I would be just crying. But he was looking for books, does research, really, in order to die prepared and continue his ministry in after-death life. And we are Christian even now. We don't think like this. Very few Christians think like this, that heaven is a place where we will continue our ministry. Yeah, we're gonna sing and so on, but apart from singing with angels, somebody will be building atmosphere, somebody will be building spiritual realm. Whatever we develop here on earth, it will be our starting point there in heaven. So I haven't seen a picture of heaven like this before. Somebody told me, I shared my thoughts about it, and somebody told me, Pastor, you need to write a book about it. And I say, I have already written such book. First book is How to Overcome the Fear of Death, and second one is Why Do We Live on Earth if we're gonna die anyway? And in particular, I have got interested in this topic, especially when I turned 50. When I turned 50, I realized that I have to prepare myself strategically for heaven, and I started studying this topic. Maybe those who listen to me often, they may know that all my talks are now through heaven, or about heaven, or through the prism of the heaven. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And things I'm sharing with you is what I'm discovering for myself. Death is just a moment. It's just a flick of the wrist. It's just a blink of the eye. You just blink your eye with your eye, and you are in the next dimension. It's just like you move to a new city. God does it in such a way. It's like, when we are born, we don't remember anything. We live just like this. The knowledge, your conscious falls asleep, and then it will gradually revive when you get to heaven. So you revive. in heaven you revive and you begin to understand everything that happened in heaven, but not with sorrow, but with joy. For the first time, they will be giving you a tour around heaven. You will be coming from one place to another place, and you will be so excited, and you will forget that something is wrong. Your family is weeping, and so on. So you will be living in joy. You will be living in ecstasy. You will feel excited. For the first time, you're gonna get into heaven. Some of you will come to heaven and you will be surprised why they say I'm dead while I am very much excited here in heaven. I can talk to people, I can give hugs, I can touch, we hold hands, everything is fine. You see your parents, your relatives, your friends, as if you lived like this all your life. You will not even remember, you won't even recall that you were sick. You won't have such a term, sickness. So then we are waking up to the reality that we have developed in us during our earth life. And we start moving in that direction in heaven. And we start from that position where we left on earth. So God gave us mind, and by mind helps us keep us earthly experiences, good and bad. Our mind doesn't differentiate it. Everything is stored in our memory. Every experience that is gathered in our subconscious, it forms our personality. So our mind accumulates all these events, all our experience, all the knowledge, every wisdom, everything you have read, everything you've said, all your skills, all your specializations, they gather all it here. Now, what else do we have to know about ourselves? Today I want to speak about that fact that about yourself you need to know. We are comprised of all these experiences, but there are different experiences. There are experiences of the past, experiences of the present. Our life is divided into 3 parts. Past. Why do we need to take care of our past? Then there is a present, and then there is future. Here on the earth, I am speaking about our earth. So we have 3 terms or 3 points in time. Somebody says Pastor Sunday is becoming philosopher. Yes, Jesus is the main philosopher, and the whole life is a great philosophy. Not kind of philosopher that Paul says that you don't do philosophy. He was meaning Greek philosophers, wisdom without anything. But our life is divided into 3 parts: past, present, and the future. Okay, let's speak about the past. Why do you need what you had in the past? Maria, for instance, you're 30-year-old. For instance, you have lived 30 years on earth. Okay, 30 years. What do you do with this past? What do you do with your past experiences? And I want to ask you this question. Why you were given the experience of the past? Why do you need it? So in order to preserve our experience, our past, we have mind, memory, wit, intelligence, conscious, subconscious. All this is to keep our past. So all Maria's 30 years, we think it is just fades away, but there is memory. And even if we don't remember it ourselves, it is there, it is inside of them. So it forms and it influences our behavior. So what do we do with it? That's what I want to speak about right now. Okay, our present life, we wake up and live. Why do we need it? Why do I need it? What should I do with present? What should I do with past? What should I do with past? And what should I do with present? I live, normally go to work, come back and forth. Is it just for that? Why our mind keeps all this information and supports it? Why do we have to keep it? Let us talk about it. And then the future hasn't come yet. In 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, what do I do with my future? And we're going to speak about it today. You see, we speak, what do you need to know about yourself for self-fulfillment? Yesterday I told you that we need to know that we have soul. And soul is very important, and especially our mind is very important. Consciousness and subconsciousness, intelligence, wit, our soul is very important. You need to know your soul. You need to know the importance of your mind. So what do you need to know about yourself to get self-fulfilled? You will never be able to self-fulfill yourself if you won't know the peculiarities of your soul. So this is what we are discussing for the first 2 days. Secondly, what do you need to know about yourself? You need to know everything about your time. Our time and your time on earth is divided into 3 parts. We know it. It is past, present, and future. It's like the language. Past times, present times, and future times. Same is with life. Life is divided into these 3 time frames, past, present, and future. But very few know what to do with it. And very few know what to do and how to manage it. What to do about it and how to manage it. Okay, I had past, I had father, I had mother. I'm speaking in general. I had mother, father, I had my village, I had my school, I had institute. Sometimes I recall my classmates, schoolmates. Well, I got married, that's the present, or divorced in the past. So what do I do with it? That's we're gonna speak about right now. And then we're gonna speak, what do you do with the present? Okay, I live in a family, I have a job, I'm a pensioner, or I'm not a pensioner yet. What should I do with this time? And then we'll speak of what do we do with the future. Future, past, and present. So what do you need to know about yourself to get self-fulfilled? To get self-fulfilled, you need to know about your time. And your time is in the past, is in the present, and in the future. Now, what do you need past for? The main role in your past is given to mind. So that's why I was speaking about accumulation of experiences. So the past, what remains from the past is in our memory. But memory is something that we recall, but most of our past experiences we may not remember. We won't remember. So what do we do? What do we do about it? How do we handle it? Our past. You need to revisit your past. You need to revisit your memories. And let me say it, you need to do the inventory of your past. Review. Dig into your past. Analyze your past. First of all, you can analyze, number one, your history up to now. Who am I? We had a school, leadership school about it. Who are my ancestors? Where am I coming from? But that is one aspect. Second aspect of what you should do with your past, you need to write down and make an analysis or maybe a research of the history of your successes. Don't start with failures. Research the history of your victories. Research the history of your successes. We have spoken about it in the church a long time ago. Those who visited church a long time then, we advised to start a notebook. We didn't have laptops, we didn't have tablets. That was about 20 years ago. World has changed. So start a book of gratitude. We called it a book of gratitude, where you write down what you're grateful for to God and to make analysis. So you can look at your life and analyze yourself. Am I lucky or not? Is it a victory or not? My dad was good, my mom was good, my neighbors were good. So find all the positive facts. And there is reason for that. I'll tell you then. I'll tell you why do you need it for. Because if you won't do it, it will come out that this part of your brain, this luggage, it will, we will waste it. We will just waste it. We will misuse it because we are not going to use it anymore in our future. But then, after you have analyzed and after you have reviewed all the positive stuff that you had in life, then you have to turn it into your motivation. All these positive things, turn it into your motivation. Ask yourself, what benefit or what good can I derive from it? If I used to study well, then this is my potential. I will dig from that. I will dig my energy from my successes in the past. So our past can enrich us. Our past can give us enforcement. Our past can push us forward to the future, to the better future. And our past can become a pillar on which we're gonna build our life today and our future too. In our past, we can find those pearls, those treasure moments, those concrete stones that will help us to build our present and even our future. And even all these positive moments can be used to build a conscious life. Use your positive experiences to build the life of your followers, of your kids, of your grandsons, granddaughters. For instance, today one of our sisters has sent to me a picture. I just recalled about it. Of her grandparents, and you may not see it well, but let me try and show it to you. So she found it somewhere, and she doesn't know who they are. And here they are dressed. Here they are dressed like officers of a royal army. They are like officers of a royal army. Like a very wealthy people, like lords. You see the luxury gowns, luxury suits. But Soviet Union destroyed it. Soviet Union destroyed all of them. Soviet Union destroyed the history of generations. And now a person is growing and is thinking, I'm nobody and my name is no one. And they suddenly discover it and then say, wow, is it really possible that such great people were in my family tree, among my relatives? So you see, this past gives power, energy, inspiration. Wow. And maybe now your son is in trouble, he has drug addiction, or your daughter has lost her job. But you have to show this picture and say, look, you have dignity and you have mightiness in your blood. But very few people know it and very few people use it. So what you need to know about yourself in order to get self-fulfilled in life. So your past is one of the things that you need to know about yourself to get self-fulfilled. If you're gonna know not only your ancestors and parents, or even your life, take your own life, look at the past and analyze it. Analyze all the positive moments, derive some lessons, make analysis, and extract life, extract energy, extract motivation from your past experiences. Your life is something that you have to know about yourself. It is about you. What do you have to know about yourself that will help you to get self-fulfilled? And life is built in such a way that we don't love past. And when we look into the past, we forget everything fast and move forward. I was reading a message sometime, like, forget your past. Forget your past. Sometimes we understand it like Isaiah. God does all things new. Don't you know it? Forget your past. But we misunderstand it, because then this scripture in Isaiah tells that we should forget all the bad things, all that sinful stuff that we had before redemption, that things that pull us back. But it doesn't mean that you have to forget your past totally and never recall it. Your past can give you a huge cumulative power. huge, huge motivational power. So we forget about our past and we walk empty. We have nothing to lean on if we forget about our past. But if you know, and if you source yourself with good information, if you know the good information about yourself, let me tell you why it is important, especially freedom, luck, and liberty. The older you grow, the more weakness you're gonna have, the more you're gonna be weaker, you will have less energy, you will be less energized, but you have such a treasure. You have such a treasure, the treasure of experience, victories, testimonies. So you had to lean on that in order to fuel yourself now, especially when you are weak, to keep on moving forward and strengthen yourself for better. So this is one of the things that you need to know about yourself. Know your past, and it will help you to get accomplished. And if you have a list of victories, what you have succeeded in your life, in your past, but also you need to make another type of analysis of those experiences and trials, difficulties, challenges, battles, and how you overcame it. What lessons have you learned? And what pains you have experienced, what failures you have experienced. All these may be kind of negative things that were in your life. You need to make analysis, and you need to make a list of all that, and write in front of every item what good thing it brought to me, what lessons have I learned from it. Trials, difficulties, challenges, you have to turn it into lessons. Every experience, every bad experience that you have, now you need to understand what lessons can you derive from that. What principles, even if it's the most difficult experience, you can turn it into positive. Do you remember I have a book, How to Turn Your Negative Energy into Positive Energy? So this is number 2, what you need to do with your past. Number 3, so the lessons that you have derived from your past experiences, maybe those principles, victories, what you can take from your experiences of the past, you have to correlate it with your present. How can I apply the principles now? And how can it help me? How can I use this or that ability or that experience to transfer to people around me, to my relatives or to my disciples, those people who I disciple, or my followers on internet, on Facebook? What lessons can I use to make it a blessing for other people? And number 4, what you need to do with your past. All these lessons about positive, about negative, you need to make it a flesh for you. You need to work hard to make all these lessons a flesh for you. Help yourself to enrich. Yes, make this experience to enrich you. Make it that kind of knowledge that will become a part of your life. Because when we get to heaven, there are things that are gonna form us. This will form you into a better person. So this is what you need to do with your past. Tomorrow I will continue what you need to know about yourself, and we will speak about the present. What should you do with the present? And maybe we will speak about future tomorrow. So tomorrow we will speak about present. We have 3 times of our life: present, past, present, and the future. So what should we do about it? So we'll talk about it tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Пастор, мы благодарны вам.